Hey guys, and welcome to some more bad archery. I'm a rubber duck of war, and today I shall be bringing a beast many of you may know and many of you may not know. Now, looking on the screen, this may look like your regular frostworm, but we actually have the cold voider. Now, I believe this was a unit you could get in campaign. In fact, I knew you could get it in the Norscan campaign, but I don't think you could ever take it in multiplayer. It is no longer a campaign exclusive. You can just bring this as Norsca, which is pretty damn cool. So the cold voider, he actually comes in with Guardian, which is probably hilarious that Norscans, who are already considered pretty bad, have been given a flying unit which has Guardian for a faction who has no flying lords or heroes. It's pretty funny stuff for sure, so he's not great, but hey, he looks cool, and he's here to party. For our main battle line, we have great weapons mixed in with basic marauders. We have a shaman sorcerer of metal coming in with final transmutation, the good old golden doggos, and a plague of rust. I have Wulfric the Wanderer in the back, of course, being the kind of main pick you'd see in general coming out of Norsca. We have some more marauder great weapons and the Mist Stalkers, regiment of renowned Thamir, who look freaking awesome. They're walking through the mists, looking to bring death and destruction to the army of Logic's Dowie, who's gone incredibly wide. And we have a bucket ton of units here, so it is blast and charge galore. We have minus blasting charges making up the main battalion in the front, and then a load of dwarf weapons. Dwarf weapons? Dwarf warriors. I guess the same thing, right? But great weapons on the right-hand side. Interested to see why these guys were picked. Of course, there isn't that much armor for Norsca, but I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. We then have a load of basic dwarf warriors dotted all the way along, so a big, fat, basic, juicy 20-stack of Dowie. We have Thoric Ironbrow leading the charge. He is coming in with triple runes. We have the Rune of Speed, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and the Rune of Doom. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. We're on Black Ark. This is a domination game, of course. And yeah, should be some good fun for sure. Now, dwarfs in general aren't considered to be too good in domination. In fact, I probably put them as my second weakest, if not weakest faction in the game right now. But I really do think against Norsca, they have some teeth. Just mass amounts of cheap armored troops sitting on top of objectives. And Black Ark is a map where you can really shine, coming in with artillery. But our opponent instead has decided to go for just kind of mass infantry, and then a load of rangers in reserve. We have Ekron the Miners moving up as well, looking to push the home objective. Objective 3 is looking a little rough for me as well. I have one unit of grey weapons on the way, as well as some Mist Stalkers, but I've got a little bit more elite coming in, of course, with our boyo, the Cold Voider, so I need to kind of have my forces a bit closer together, and maybe focus for the majority of the time on Objective 2 and 1, trying to push through and just take my opponent's home objective if possible. It's like the Cold Void is going to be moving around the left-hand side. A little bit of a slow start to the battle. It is a rather large map. I'm also going to be bringing in double Marauder Hunters. I wanted to give them a try today. They are the throwing axe variety, or they can do some decent damage in general up against the Dowie. Now, Wulfric the Wanderer decides to lead the charge. He's going to be absorbing the blasting charges, so the rest of my infantry doesn't have to. We're also coming with a boat. You can see it does just about catch the miners, but unfortunately not doing a huge amount of work there. Looks like the Voider is floating around looking for a bit of a breath attack to go down the wings. Weapons do need to be careful. There's a lot of blasting charges on arrival, so they do indeed decide to fall back here. Over on Objective 3, there's a bit of fighting. The blasting chargers receive a rather nasty present, and that is, of course, the Mist Stalkers, who are clobbering and bleeding the Dowie dry. You can see the blood pack is on, by the way. Glorious spurts of blood in all directions. I know many of you have missed that. I think it's the exact same blood pack from previously, unless I'm wrong. It kind of looks a little bit better, but that might just be the improved graphics for Warhammer 3 over 2 anyway. So miners are getting beaten back. We were just about capturing Objective 3, but in comes the Longbeards. They should have had a hold for a relatively long time. We cap our home objective, and then we're pushing back onto the dwarfs. Golden Hounds are spawned into existence, jumping this way and that with joyful glee. And Wulfric the Wanderer is going to be slamming into some of these great weapons. Fun is a little hardest. I wish that I had one of the boats left to go down the line here. They've been so powerful. We used it a little bit early on the miners. Weapons do get exploded in bouts of fire. We have a load of blasting charges coming in, just peppering us down. It looks like a final transmutation. My god, that looks so cool, the new animation. Do some damage here to just enemy miners and warriors and the like, but it's not going to do anything too crazy. Thoric Ironbrow gets a little overextended. He gets hit by a Hunter of Champions for his hubris. We're going to be moving up as well with the Marauder Hunters, looking to bring the pain, though my opponent is winning the battle so far. Damage value-wise, I'm quite significantly ahead. The Cold Voider is eating up some Rangers, and I'm looking to maybe use that momentum, hopefully, in the second half of the battle rather than the forefront. Miners are getting torn apart by great weapons. The Mist Stalkers are having an absolutely phenomenal time here. They are really doing a good number over these Longbeards. They've got these awesome, like, mace weapons coated in the blood of friend and foe. Looks like the Longbeards with that Sundra armor not too happy. Rune Doom goes down though. increasing melee attack across the battlefield is going to be rather lovely. We do have a couple of chariots being spawned in. We need to do some good micromanagement on them, otherwise they will get pinned in by the Dowie, who are starting to push back. Like, we started pushing objective 1, and now they are the ones on the arrival. Hunters, though, are whittling down relatively quickly. Look how fast these dwarf warriors are falling up against basic marauders due to the help of the hunters. In the distance, Big Fat Breath Attack does go down the line, catches out quite a few of the great weapons who are really struggling right now. More marauders are popping forward as the hunters just launch those throwing axes. I watched Prey recently, and there's some awesome throwing axe scenes in that, and you can see these guys trying to replicate that. They've been inspired. Those actors are coming in, clobbering into the Great dwarfs as they retreat, slamming them in the behind. Wolfred the Wanderer is dueling Thoric Ironbrow. As you can expect, that's a pretty good fight for Wolfred the Wanderer. There are miners in here as well. More dwarf warriors are pushing in, attempting to support their liege lord. We have a rune of speed go down. The void one, though, the cold avoider, does manage to swoop down and devour a few Dowie on this flank. So we're doing okay. Again, damage value-wise, I was significantly ahead by this point, but it does not seem to be transitioning into capture points. In fact, my opponent is looking more likely to capture my objective than I am his. On objective 3, you can see the Miststalkers are doing some pretty solid damage. Unfortunately, they get caught out here by the Dragonback Slayers, likewise do the Chariots. And though they got 92 kills, they weren't able to really capture this objective. And it's a bit of a death zone, a death pit, a pillar of bones for the Norscans to push on there if I really want to try and claim that. I think I need to consolidate my forces once more, going for a bit more of an elite fighting force than the dwarves today. We need to fight as one and really try and push objective 1, but the dwarves are driving through hard right now. The Cold Voider has actually been pretty decent. I mean, the fact it does magic attacks doesn't matter anymore. Dwarves obviously only have spell resistance and no longer the magic resistance. Cold Voider's doing fine. Gets hit by Ulfar, so I simply pull back and away from the riders and allow the Grey Weapons to try and feast upon them. Wolfred the Wanderer is going toe-to-toe with Thoric Ironbrow and having a pretty good time. We do have Hunters also surrounded. They're going to get hit. Oh, that's really nasty. The old rune coming in, doing some pretty decent damage there. Thoric Ironbrow is getting hunted down, though, rather nastily. My home objective is under a little bit of threat. We can see our spellcast has been forced back, and the dragon is having to come back to defend home base right now. Hunters are going to continue to throw in their axes, though, doing decent work. Hit up to 54 kills. Not bad day's work for the little Norsclins here, and hopefully we can get rid of some of these pesky longbits. It looks like we get yet another Rune of Doom go down by the mighty Thoric Ironbrow. Hunter Champions also clips him, though, and it looks like he is going to be going down. A mixture of bolts from the Rangers, blasts and charges from the Ironbreakers, doing some pretty decent damage to Wolfred the Wanderer here, who is just tanking, and down Thoric Ironbrow goes, pulled down from his seat of, I guess, big-headedness, and dwarves think pretty highly of themselves, off his high horse and dragged low by the mighty Wolfric the Wanderer. Javelins off, or not javelins, throwing axes are going to be falling back here, throwing the Longbeards and slowly dragging them down. And once again, we're kind of winning the battle. Like, we're out-damaging our opponents significantly, but that does not matter. The tickets are not in our favour, so I need to sort that out and change things up a bit. And to do that, we're making a big push onto Objective 3. The Miststalkers doing okay, but they're now against Dragonback Slayers. Elsewhere, we have a Feral Mammoth, as well as the Marauder Champion Great Weapons, who are carving their way through dwarves, but this is perfect for the dwarves. They're fighting off the objectives and towards my deployment zone. The Marauders, though, coated in the blood, move forward like lords of war, coming to bring the pain to the Longbeards, and they're doing pretty decent work, these champions, up to 76 kills. We are going to win this fight. Will we have enough time to capture Objective 3? That's going to be the big problem, because we need a triple cap realistically here. Load more hunters are coming in as well to the party. Wolfred the Wanderer is just pulling apart the dwarves a little bit. They're overextended in parts, and that's allowing the chariots to jump on their range units. We also have the Cold Voider who can jump on these backline units, and hopefully allow us to mount a bit of a push on to Objective 1. Down on Objective 3, you can still see we're starting to get on the objective. The champions are doing good work nonetheless, though, with the Feral Mammoth. The dwarves just do not break. If they get in a situation where they're fighting ahead of the objectives like this, you know things are going phenomenally well. However, I'm not out of the fight just yet. We've summoned in some more hunters. We've also summoned a big push of Marauders. A load of Great Weapons going to be pushing forward. My opponent was attempting to capture Objective 2, but now I'm going to be the one marching on his home objective. A lot of his army is starting to break and run. They've been a little bit tired. They don't want to fight anymore, but they're going to have to. Northern Ironbreakers are making a desperate push onto my objective, looking to hold me at bay and maybe pin me in place. Wolfred the Wanderer is going to stop them here, though, with a mighty charge. And that's allowing these hunters to do some really nice work all round. Shieldbreaker has gone down, so the Ironbreakers have that negative 24 missile block chance. And Wolfric's just all round having a fantastic day here. The other marauders are going to swoop around to the different flanks, looking to do a big push onto Objective 1. We do have a load of Rangers coming back into the fight, though. More Ekron Miners, more Blasting Chargers entering the fray. And although it looks like we've got a few troops on Objective 1 now, we are going to push pretty aggressive for the triple here. Though my opponent, in response, is going to bring up some Rangers to hold Objective 3. The Mammoth is slowly draining down the troops. Giantback Slayers are also getting picked apart by the Marauder Champions, although they are being slowed down a little bit here, up to 168 kills. Things are looking a little bit rough to capture that objective. However, we have some more Marauders on the push as well, looking to float these units around in jail, kind of. Well, I don't think these ones are going, but I think this other unit, yeah, moving over towards Objective 3, hopefully looking to claim it. We are starting to cap it, at least at the moment. Bit of 2 Azars, and now the Great Norscan Force can make a move for Objective 1. We have a load of the cheaper troops going that way. Wolfred the Wanderer is going to be trying to just kind of peel off a lot of these broken units and force them off the battlefield. Looks like we have some Hunters actually out of ammunition, but they're not out of the fight just yet. Raising those mighty war axes, looking to decapitate Longbeards and render their armor useless with mighty swings of their blades. Load more Blasting Chargers come in on the side of Wolfred the Wanderer from the Ekron Miners, doing some pretty solid damage there. The rest of the Hunters are moving in, as well as the Great Weapons, and all of a sudden, Objective 1 looking a little bit shaky for the forces of the Dowie. Looks like we're going to come in with yet another Final Transmutation. I was trying out these spells to see how effective they would be up against the Dwarves. I know they still have the spell resistance, but hopefully trying to get off some of the air effects where people are on top of objectives. Alas, it doesn't seem to do that much damage, but we are capturing Objective 1 now, which is good. Rangers are forced back, Miners have used their Blasting Charges, and it looks like the Cold Voider may be intercepting a few reinforcing units. We also have Chariots on arrival, even more infantry in the form of Hunters and Great Weapons to hopefully hold Objective 2, and I need to get these Marauders over to Objective 3. We were just about taking it, we were halfway there. Alas, the Mammoth actually rampaged into the Slayers, which is quite annoying. He wanted to hunt on top of these Rangers, but we are now starting to lose once again Objective 3. But the Marauders are on the way, but we don't have enough time. No, we captured, or we were going to capture Objective 1. It leaked heavily likely. We were just about holding our home objective. We were making a big push on this one down here, but alas, it was not enough. And we do get a Dowie victory in domination. Very well played logic, coming in with a, pretty standard, just boom, 15 stack, backed up by another kind of like a ton of units. I think this is one of the kind of 2 ways to play Dwarfs. You just bring a mass amount of cheap troops, mass amounts of Blasting Charges, and then a load of Rangers to back them up, and kind of whittle in 1 or 2 elite units to hold objectives, or you go mass range and you slow push, kind of like Kislev used to do back in the day when that was meta for a little while. But it's good to see the Dwarves get a little bit of a win here. So 2,000 value from the Giantback Slayers is beautiful work. They were certainly standouts, holding that far objective relatively nicely. 1.2k on the Ekron Miners, but they were summoned twice though, it should be noted. For kind of 1,000 value, not bad, considering he was dueling at Wolfric the Wanderer for a relatively juicy amount of time. Blasting Charges did okay, but they're more there just to shred HP, I suppose, than get massive amounts of kills. Myself, Wolfric the Wanderer, 2.5k, 1.5k on the Cold Voider. Only 900 of us ferried on the Miststalkers got themselves into a bit of a pickle. Marauders did okay, nothing too crazy to be honest. Oh my god, they're called the World Walkers. Oh, that's such a sick name for Wolfric the Wanderer now. 720 on the Feral Mammoth, 1.3k on some of the Champions is awesome. How did the Hunters do? Because they were an interesting choice. 1,000 value in 1 unit was good. The others kind of were a bit of a letdown. But yeah, we did pretty good damage value-wise, but we just weren't able to get the Dwarfs off the objective. And I think that's going to be the key for Dwarf players. Play like your Grand Cafe. Try and get on the objectives and then push off on them. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.